Number 1. Traveling to the moon before wheeled suitcases. It might sound like a typo, but it is an absolute reality. Humanity sent a man to the lunar surface before ever thinking of putting small wheels on the bottom of a suitcase. The Apollo 11 mission landed on the moon in 1969, while the first patent for a wheeled suitcase wasn't registered until 1970. Consider this incredible paradox. Scientists possessed the complex technology required to calculate rocket trajectories through deep space, yet travelers in airports were still forced to lug their heavy bags by hand, straining their backs. It serves as a reminder that great solutions for our simplest daily problems can sometimes lag behind our greatest scientific achievements. Number 2. Oxford University is older than the Aztec civilization. When we think of the Aztec civilization in Mexico, we often imagine a mysterious, ancient world belonging to the distant past. However, have you ever imagined that the traditions of university education in Europe were already established and stable before the Aztec civilization even emerged? The prestigious University of Oxford began welcoming students and teaching in its halls as early as 1096 AD. In contrast, the political and social entity known as the Aztec Empire was not established, and its legendary city, Tenochtitlan, was not built until 1325 AD. This means that Oxford professors were grading papers and debating philosophy and logic for over 200 years before the Aztecs began building their famous civilization. This fact shatters the stereotype that everything ancient happened at the same time. It reveals that some institutions still standing today are, in fact, older than entire empires we once thought belonged to the prehistoric dawn of time. Number 3. Skyscrapers and trench warfare. When we think of World War I, images of muddy trenches, horses, and primitive weapons often come to mind. But have you ever imagined that New York City was already filled with modern skyscrapers at that time? While soldiers were fighting in the trenches of Europe in 1914, the Woolworth Building in New York had already been completed, standing at a height of 241 meters. This contrast makes us realize that the world was living in two completely different eras simultaneously: the dying age of ancient chivalry on the battlefields, and the age of concrete and steel that had already begun to shape the future on the other side of the Atlantic. Number 4. Woolly mammoths outlive pyramids. While Egyptian laborers were dragging giant limestone blocks under the scorching desert sun to build the Great Pyramid of Giza around 2500 BCE, erecting what would become the greatest of the 7 wonders of the world, woolly mammoths were still alive and well. At that time, these creatures were not merely fossils buried underground, they were roaming Wrangel Island in the Arctic Ocean, living their daily lives and foraging for food amidst the snow. The last of these legendary Ice Age creatures did not go extinct until around 1700 BCE, meaning they continued to exist for a full 800 years after the Egyptians had finished building their pyramids. Consider this incredible temporal gap. While the pharaohs were ruling Egypt and priests were carving hieroglyphics into temple walls, a small group of mammoths was still resisting extinction in the far north. We often associate mammoths with cavemen and primitive drawings, but the shocking truth is that these creatures witnessed the dawn of great civilizations, making them contemporaries to the beginning of our modern history in a way we never imagined. Number 5. The fax machine and the invention of the telephone. If you were to ask someone which was invented first, the telephone or the fax machine, most would answer that the telephone is much older. However, the truth is that the first patent for a fax machine was registered by the Scottish inventor Alexander Bain in 1843, a full 33 years before Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone in 1876. This means that the ability to send images and documents over wires existed before humans were able to hear each other's voices through those same wires. Number 6. Nintendo and the era of Jack the Ripper. When you hear the name Nintendo, your mind immediately jumps to Mario, Pokémon, and cutting-edge gaming consoles. However, did you know that this company was founded at the exact same time Jack the Ripper was spreading terror through the streets of London? Nintendo was founded in Japan in 1889, originally producing handmade playing cards known as Hanafuda. In that specific year, while the news in London was dominated by the mysterious crimes in Whitechapel, the founder of Nintendo was laying the cornerstone of a gaming empire that would eventually transform the face of entertainment in the 21st century. Number 7. Harvard University was founded before the emergence of calculus. The chronological paradox between the founding of Harvard University and the emergence of calculus is one of the most fascinating facts in academic and scientific history. Harvard, the oldest institution of higher learning in the United States, officially opened its doors in 1636, a date that predates the major scientific revolution brought about by Isaac Newton and Gottfried Leibniz. During those early years of the university, students studied a classical curriculum that included logic, ancient languages, and basic arithmetic, while the concepts of derivatives or integrals did not yet exist in human thought. The world did not begin to recognize the mathematical rules describing motion and change until the late 17th century, specifically with the publication of Newton's famous work, Philosophia Naturalis Principia Mathematica, in 1687. This means that entire generations of Harvard graduates earned their degrees in a world that had not yet discovered the mathematical tools we consider today to be the cornerstone of modern physics and engineering. This illustrates how venerable educational institutions can sometimes predate the very sciences they would later excel in teaching. Number 8. Picasso and the Moon Landing. The biography of the world-renowned artist Pablo Picasso serves as a living embodiment of humanity's colossal leap between two entirely different centuries. Born in 1881, Picasso entered a world where horse-drawn carriages were the primary mode of transport, and candles or oil lamps provided the main source of light. However, what is truly astounding about his life is not just how he redefined modern art through cubism, but that he lived to witness the world's radical transformation from a pre-industrial age to the atomic age, and finally, the space age. By the time of his death in 1973, humanity had not only conquered the skies, but had successfully landed astronauts on the lunar surface 6 times under the famous Apollo program. This paradox presents a surreal image. An artist who started painting with oils on canvas in the 19th century left a world where he could watch live, color television broadcasts of humans walking in outer space. Picasso stands as a witness to the greatest technological and cognitive shift in human history. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share the video with your friends. Thank you for watching.